Welcome. We're here at the Hot Stove Society, and I'm super excited. We've got Chrissy from Culinary Collective. She's a great educator, and we've been working with Culinary Collective for years here at the Hot Stove Society, doing our fabulous paella and our tapas classes. And Chrissy, I'm so glad you're here. Tell us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So, Culinary Collective, we're an importer of Spanish foods, authentic products that are really tough to find, but we have been representing these products for many years. And I'm really excited today to teach you all about the three elements of a perfect paella. There are many different types of rices, short grain, long grain. People say, why do you need a specific rice for paella? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. Paella is a rice-focused dish. Rice and seafood, rice and poultry, but at the end of the day, it's rice heavy. So that rice that you're using has to be able to hold all the flavors of the dish. And that rice has to have very specific absorption properties. So this Matiz rice is from Spain. It's from Valencia, which is the birthplace of paella. It is a short grain rice. And so the paella rice traditional in the red bag is just fantastic. It's kind of an everyday paella rice. It plumps up big and thick and fat and juicy and holds all the flavor of the dish. But the bomba rice is even a step above that. This is the chef's choice in paella rice because it plumps up even bigger and when it holds more liquid. Cool. So why don't we go ahead and get started. We've got our paella here, paella. So once the oil is hot, we have to get the sofrito going. So why don't you take about half of that jar.
Okay.
And while she does that, I'll talk a little bit about, love that wiggle. Woo!
So the sizzles,
excitement here in the kitchen.
So the deal with the sofrito though is we're cutting out the cooking of the tomato and the peppers.
Yeah,
nice.
So this is the second key element of the perfect paella. Sofrito is the base, the flavor layer of the paella that's really going to lend the most flavor besides the broth to that paella rice. Once it goes in, you heat it up, and then you can pour in the 1.5 cups of that paella rice.
Awesome.
Now,
So one stir.
I would say go ahead and stir it around and kind of get the sofrito and the rice going a little bit in the pan. You can toast the rice just the tiniest bit. And then once that
and the heat's on high, right? Because we are always encouraging folks once we get our liquid added, we stop stirring because.
Yeah. So once you actually get the rice, now you can see she's really spreading that out and making kind of one layer. It's not a big pile in the middle, it's one layer of rice. At this point, we're gonna add the broth, and then we're not going to touch it.
That's so hard. We take away the spoons in class.
No, don't take the spoon. So we're using today annetto broths, and this is an annetto fish broth.
It's delicious.
This is 4 cups of broth in one container, so it's enough for one nice sized paella. Annetto broths are also made in Spain, and they're 100% natural broths. These broths are as good or better than you would make at home. We have chicken, veggie, and fish, but for this one we're using a fish broth. I would say that you want to turn the heat down to, once all the liquid is in and it's boiling, you want to have it simmer so it has a nice steady heat and absorbs all the liquid. And then of course we're using fish broth, so we can add our seafood and let that cook on top of the rice.
So Chrissy, this is looking good. I mean, a lot of that stock you mentioned, if you let the stock and the rice cook together.
Yeah, it really starts to absorb all the liquid. And about this point, you can see it's really bubbling up, and we're getting to the point where a lot of it has been absorbed, so it's a good time to add the seafood.
Okay, and so today we picked up some beautiful local mussels.
Yeah.
And I like to put them in just with the mussel down.
Yeah, the little pointed edge down to kind of anchor it in to the rice.
Right, because that's where the hinge is, and the mussel on the, and so as these sit in here, they open up and make a beautiful pattern. So you know what, as I'm doing this, I had a question about pimenton, because I associate pimenton with all paellas, but you were just telling me.
Yeah, so pimenton is basically smoked paprika from Spain. This is a wood smoked dried red pepper, and we have it in both sweet and spicy. Pimenton is really, overall, it gives a nice peppery flavor, but it's really just that nice smoke that people love to add to their paella.
So I think this looks great. Chrissy, what do you think in terms of the way the rice looks, the
Yeah.
coloration on the edge? I
Yeah.
still hear
I
crackling.
hear some snap, crackle, pop, and we've got just a tiny little bit of broth here, but barely any left. So at this point, if you wanted to, for show purposes, we could dig in a little bit and see what it looks like.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that. Chrissy, this is so delicious. Thank you so much for showing us how to do this.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for joining us. Bridget from the Hot Stove Society, check us out, hotstovesociety.com. Come take one of our awesome paella classes. Maybe Chrissy will be there. I've been
Yeah.
bugging her. And then Chrissy, where do we find these products?
So we're a culinary collective, and we sell to online retailers. So you can find our products under the Matiz and Netto brand and many others at Amazon, thespanishtable.com, and yummybazaar.com.
Right, and then if you're here in Seattle, there are a number of great grocery stores that carry the product. So look around for the brand. They're a little more expensive, but they're so delicious. It's worth it. Thanks for joining.